Hi, it's Dave. Thanks again for clicking on this video. So I like quirky books that take us behind the scenes about things that we kind of take for granted in our everyday lives. And that's why when I saw the book Frostbite, How Refrigeration Changed Our Food, Our Planet, and Ourselves by Nicola Twilley, well, it caught my attention. After all, we're all dependent on refrigeration to keep our foods edible. What I found interesting in the book, some interesting facts. It wasn't until the 1930s before the majority of Americans had a refrigerator in their home. That was because of the invention of freon. And actually, I do remember, my parents talking about the early refrigerator. But the other interesting statistic was that in 1955, only 80% of Americans had a refrigerator in their home. 1955. Hmm, I was just a little kid. And that means that not everybody had a refrigerator in their home? Huh. So, anyway, this book looks at the impact of refrigeration on our lives, how it's influenced our everything from food preservation to the way we eat. And one of the early things the author does in the book, which is really one of the highlights of the book, as far as I'm concerned, is uh, she takes a banana and she shows us how it migrates through the cold chain in order to demonstrate how we're able to consume food that maybe out of season where we live, and and how that whole cold chain thing impacts our environment. She traces the historical evolution of refrigeration from some of the earliest storage methods to cutting edge cold technologies. I happen to live on Lake Michigan, and I actually do remember hearing stories, from an era gone by where people would cut ice from the lake and bring that into their homes, and that was the refrigeration. So all of that I found very interesting in the book. But then she moved to another section, which is about how refrigeration changed the way we eat and what we eat. It meant that we were increasingly reliant on artificially preserved foods, and that, she argues, led to poor diet, with over-processed and less nutrition options dominating the market. One of the quotes in the book is shopping at Whole Foods is more expensive, but not necessarily because its food is healthier or better for the environment, but because its supply chain is so inefficient. Twiley argues that cold storage has unintentionally compromised the quality of our food, with fresh produce often losing its flavor and nutritional value because it's stored for a long period of time in cold storage. Um, and while that's true, and I understand that, this is where the book started to lose me. I had hoped that the book was going to focus more on behind the scenes and giving us a greater understanding of refrigeration. But towards the end, it got kind of preachy. The book discusses how the refrigeration industry contributes to global warming through the use of harmful refrigerants and systems that require a lot of energy. And as a result, its ecological footprint is not all that good. Here's another excerpt. She wrote, "Still, a wholehearted appreciation of those benefits shouldn't prevent us from counting the cold chain's cost and considering its alternatives, especially as the rest of the world starts to refrigerate. Some of its advantages are inherent to the technology. It takes a lot of energy to remove heat, which has environmental consequences, but also tends to create socioeconomic ones, as smaller farmers growing a diversity of foods for local consumption are less likely to benefit than large landholders cultivating export crops at scale. The resulting concentration and intensification have their own ecological impacts." So you kind of see how the book has moved from telling us about the process of keeping food cold and how food travels from different parts of the world to our table. Uh, in fact, she suggests we should reconsider our dependence on refrigeration. And she thinks that we should focus more on sustainable food storage. And I understand her point. It's very interesting, but I'm not giving up my refrigerator anytime soon, and I'm not sure that anybody else is. If it's simply a call to do more research on how to make refrigeration more economical and environmental friendly, okay, that's well and good. But we're not really going to change our refrigeration habits anytime soon. Don't get me wrong. This is an interesting and well-researched book. And maybe it's just that I had different expectations for it. I don't know. You be the judge. The book is called Frostbite: How Refrigeration Changed Our Food, Our Planet, and Ourselves. It's by Nicola Twilley, and it was published in 2024 by Penguin Press. Thanks for joining me today. Leave a comment below if you've read this book. What do you think about it? Or if you have a book that you'd like to suggest to me, leave a comment below. And it would really mean a lot to me if you would subscribe to our series of videos.